Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at the sources on Harriet Tubman, the figure known as Moses.
Right. And we're aiming to go a bit deeper than just the legend.
Exactly. We want to unpack her methods on the Underground Railroad, which were frankly terrifyingly effective, and also dig into her less-known role as a military strategist.
Yeah, and to really get her, you have to start with her beginnings. Her birth name was Araminta Ross, or Minty, born around 1822, right into the sheer brutality of slavery on Maryland's eastern shore.
And there's that pivotal moment in her youth, the injury.
Yes, a truly life-altering event. An overseer aiming for someone else threw a heavy metal weight. It struck her head.
Oof.
Yeah. And it caused these lifelong, debilitating seizures, visions, too.
So most people would see that as just crippling.
Yeah.
A weakness. But the sources, they suggest she viewed it differently.
Completely differently. That's really the key insight here. She didn't see it as a disability. She interpreted those seizures, those visions, as direct messages from God, divine guidance. It solidified this powerful belief that she was chosen, an instrument for God's will. And that conviction, it powered everything she did later.
And that conviction was tested almost immediately, wasn't it? She escapes herself in 1849. Her owner died. She feared being sold further south.
Right. She makes it to Pennsylvania. Freedom.
But then what? The sources say she felt the glory of freedom was, and this is a quote, eclipsed by the crushing weight of their suffering. Her family still enslaved.
Precisely. So that realization hits her, and she makes this almost unthinkable choice. She decides to go back.
Just incredible resolve. And then almost immediately things get even more dangerous.
That's right. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, a catastrophic change.
Explain that. What did it do?
It basically mandated that everyone, even in so-called free northern states, had to assist in capturing and returning escaped slaves. It federalized it.
So Pennsylvania wasn't safe anymore. Nowhere in the U.S. was truly safe.
Exactly. Suddenly, the only real sanctuary was Canada. The goal line just moved much, much farther away.
Okay, so the stakes are massively higher now. She can't just get people to the north. She has to get them out of the country entirely.
Yeah.
How did that shift her tactics?
It forced her to become even more meticulous, a master planner. She timed her journeys for winter, when the nights were longest, more cover of darkness.
Makes sense.
And she used coded signals, spirituals, hymns. The tempo of a song like Wade in the Water, for instance, could change to signal danger ahead. Or maybe that the coast was clear.
That's just an amazing level of detail under pressure.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the pistol. The sources are clear she carried one.
Yes. And this is crucial. It wasn't primarily for fighting off slave catchers, though I'm sure she would have.
If for her passengers.
It was for the group. Her iron rule was that the safety of the mission, the safety of the whole group, came first. Always.
Because one person panicking could doom everyone?
Absolutely. Someone terrified, homesick, wanting to turn back. That person could betray the entire route. The safe house is everything. The risk was immense.
Which leads to that one really chilling anecdote the sources describe. Leading a group, I think it was 11 people.
Yes, 11. And one man just couldn't take it anymore. Collapsed, said he was going back, demanded to be returned.
What did Tubman do?
She stood over him, pulled out her pistol, cocked it, and whispered something like, "You go on or you die."
Wow.
Her reasoning, as recorded, was stark. Dead Negroes tell no tales. Brutal, but in her view, necessary.
And did he go on?
He did. He pushed on, and that entire group made it safely to Canada. It shows that terrifying level of resolve she had. It wasn't theoretical. It was life and death, enforced by her.
Incredible. Just the weight of that. But her work didn't stop with the Underground Railroad. The Civil War breaks out and she pivots again.
Right. She becomes a nurse, a cook, but also, critically, a scout and a spy for the Union Army. Her knowledge of the terrain, especially the South Carolina Low Country, was unparalleled. She knew the swamps, the rivers, the hidden paths. Which
led to arguably her most stunning achievement, not on the railroad, but in a military sense.
Definitely. The Combahee River raid in 1863. This is astonishing. She didn't just guide, she led the operation.
Led it how?
She planned the raid and guided 3 Union steamboats carrying about 150 black soldiers up the river. They destroyed Confederate supplies, plantations, infrastructure.
And freed people.
And freed over 750 enslaved people in a single night, guided them onto the boats. It effectively makes her the first woman in American history to lead an armed military expedition.
That's just staggering.
Yeah.
So looking back at her whole life's work then, the numbers.
The estimates are she personally led around 70 people to freedom and gave detailed instructions to maybe another 70 or so who escaped on their own using her guidance.
But her impact through things like the Combahee raid touched hundreds more.
Easily, affecting well over 300 lives directly or indirectly through her actions. And she was incredibly proud of her record, her famous quote, "I never run my train off the track and I never lost a passenger."
Never lost a passenger. Amazing. And even after the war.
She didn't stop. Her focus shifted, but her advocacy continued. She became deeply involved in the women's suffrage movement, fighting for rights until her death in 1913.
So looking at the whole picture from the sources, the transformation is just immense. From Araminta Minty Ross, born into slavery, escaping, returning, to become Moses, this incredibly effective, ruthless, brilliant conductor and strategist.
Absolutely. An icon forged in trauma and conviction.
And maybe that's the final thought to leave you with, connecting back to that early injury.
Yeah, think about the paradox. That horrific head injury, the source of lifelong physical suffering. She reframed it. It became the source of her visions, her perceived connection to God, the very bedrock of her conviction.
So in a way, her greatest physical weakness became the wellspring of her almost unbelievable courage and strength. Both the brutality needed to enforce her rules and the grace to lead so many to freedom.
Exactly. How something so damaging could fuel such profound resolve. That's definitely something worth mulling over.
And conflict, a mission to finally end slavery.
And that's really what we're going to unpack in this deep dive. Her role wasn't just symbolic. She was a military and humanitarian force for the Union using networks she'd already built.
So let's start there with her humanitarian work. She's in Beaufort, South Carolina at the start of her service.
And at first, she's purely a volunteer, a caregiver.
For wounded Union soldiers and also for the thousands of newly freed people there.
Exactly. And she brought this incredible skill set with her. She knew herbal medicine, all these traditional folk remedies.
Which was absolutely critical for treating things like, what was it, dysentery?
Dysentery, smallpox. I mean, these diseases were just tearing through the camps. And she was also cooking for the troops, doing their laundry.
And doing it unpaid a lot of the time.
It just shows her total personal commitment to the cause.
Okay, so from there, she makes this leap from nurse to an intelligence officer.
A spy.
And this is where she becomes a complete game changer for the Union.
Because she had an access that no white scout could ever hope to have.
That's the asymmetric advantage right there. I mean, think about it. A white Union scout shows up. People are suspicious. They're not going to talk.
But they trusted her.
Implicitly. So they gave her everything. Vital intelligence on Confederate troop movements, the hidden locations of supply depots.
Even where they'd laid mines and built fortifications.
Yes. And she wasn't just, passing along notes. She was out there in the field as a scout.
Actually guiding Union regiments herself through those treacherous South Carolina marshlands.
Which brings us to what is, I think, her greatest military achievement, the Combahee River Raid.
June of 1863. And this fact is it's astonishing.
It really is.
She became the first woman in U.S. history to lead an armed military expedition. To lead an armed raid, yeah. She was working with Colonel James Montgomery, guiding these 3 Union gunboats up the river.
So what was the objective? What was the mission?
It was twofold. First, strategic destruction. They wanted to destroy the Confederate supply line.
Which meant hitting the big plantations along the river.
Exactly. And second, mass liberation. Freeing the enslaved people forced to work on them.
And she's directing this operation from the deck of a gunboat.
From the deck. Using her intimate knowledge of the river, and this is so important, using the Gula dialect.
The local Creole language.
Right. To call out to people in the fields, to let them know the boats were there to rescue them. The signal for freedom.
And the result was just staggering.
Over 700 men, women, and children liberated in a single night.
Wow. In one night. That's more than some entire years of the Underground Railroad, all in one action.
So what this all means for you when you look at it is that Tubman's war service created this amazing link
between that civilian defiance of the Underground Railroad and direct military action.
She literally weaponized knowledge. The raid worked because she could speak Gula, turning that regional cultural knowledge into a strategic military advantage.
It's an incredible story of leadership. But the part that, really sticks with you is what happened after the war. For all of that service, all that courage and sacrifice, she had to fight for years just to get a military pension.
A bureaucratic nightmare. And that really leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, if a hero like Harriet Tubman, whose contributions were so proven and so essential, had to struggle that hard for basic recognition,
What other critical but unacknowledged contributions to the war are still out there, just waiting to be discovered?